So today's video is going to be absolutely huge because we need to talk about the Xbox, Game Pass, the PlayStation 5, and the current state of the console war, because I feel like things have just managed to get a lot more messy. Things are kind of complicated, and I want to explain why the thing that just happened is definitely a very big deal. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and if you've ever decided to go into my comment section to dig through the thousands of messages that people leave me, very frequently I am called a Sony fanboy. Now this doesn't really bother me, mostly because I do love my PlayStation. I put thousands of hours into my PlayStation 4, I certainly love my PlayStation 5, I'm obsessed with Spider-Man, you know, that kind of stuff. But I'm somebody that definitely grew up more on the Xbox side of the fence. Games like Halo, Alan Wake, these experiences have always been very, very bright and flashy and fun. So I've been extremely curious about what's going to happen with the Xbox Series X. And it seems like Microsoft has realized that the secret to their success is going to be Xbox Game Pass. Now, the reason I say this is because of some of the crazy announcements that have come out this week, but part of them is this. This was actually just tweeted out minutes ago. People are still completely flipping out. These are all coming soon to Xbox Game Pass. Now, this is both the console version and also the PC version, but I'm more specifically curious about the console side of this because of what we're getting here. Outriders, Undertale, Yakuza, Empire Sin. This is the new freaking Star Wars Squadrons game that came out. Even things like Octopath Traveler, which previously was an exclusive game for the Nintendo Switch, is all coming to Games Pass. Now, this is nuts. Yes, I do accidentally say Games Pass instead of Game Pass sometimes, I apologize, but I am kind of flipping my lid. Let me break this down because I have noticed people saying that Outriders isn't a big deal. I've seen people saying that they just don't understand the implications of why this is actually huge. Now, let me just say this real quick, just to be brutally honest. I think Outriders kind of sucks. I did a big video on it. You can go watch it. I'm not particularly impressed with another freaking looter shooter, a game where I'm just constantly trying to blast people, pick up guns, running around some bland, slightly blown out environments, whatever. The implications of this, though, are the fact that a Square Enix first-party game that is a AAA release, something they easily spent hundreds of millions of dollars on, is coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. Now, the amount of freaking money they must have paid for this deal is crazy to even try and imagine, but I feel like it's actually setting something which is a more interesting precedent. It's showing the fact that nothing is off limits. At this point, anything in the world could come to Games Pass. As long as it's not like a first-party exclusive to the PS5, pretty much anything may come super, super cheap over to Xbox. And it's going to make it where if you're trying to just be an Xbox person like I am, I think that the goal is to try and make it where, what if they can get 50 million people to all be simultaneous subscribers to Xbox Game Pass? Like, the implications of this are nuts because now I'm already imagining some games that are coming up, some huge AAA stuff. What if Call of Duty comes there? What if they start making huge things like, imagine there's huge expansions, huge DLC, huge things that we already love? What if whenever freaking Final Fantasy comes out, you know, Final Fantasy VII Remake, there's a bunch of rumors that it's about to come to Xbox. What if that ends up being on Xbox Game Pass? Now, I know what you're saying. I've already seen a bunch of people online actually saying like, oh, Outriders sucks, this isn't a big deal. Especially a lot of my fellow Sony friends. I've seen a lot of people saying that since this game blows, they probably got it at a deep discount. This is probably Square Enix trying to make sure that the game doesn't abysmally pop. While that's certainly half true, because Outriders definitely isn't the best game ever, it does make me think that this is their way of trying to basically prove the fact that the future of Games Pass is the future of Xbox. But part of the reason this has just been completely melting my brain is the implications this has on the PlayStation 5. So a couple years ago, Sony released a statement that basically what they were going to try and do is release less total games each year, so more like 3 games instead of 5 games, but every single game would be a huge, perfect masterpiece. The idea behind this is that if more people are enjoying it, if more people are playing your games longer, then the console itself is going to rise up. If people look at the general Metacritic rating of your exclusives, and every single one is like 96%, people of course are going to go, hey, maybe that's a console that I should take seriously. And this experiment seems to have worked. If you look at a lot of their recent games, like here's a famous article that was written recently, here is a rundown of top open world games that have the highest completion rate. Marvel Spider-Man at number 1 and Ghost of Tsushima at number 2. There's Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, like freaking pretty much every game that was exclusive on the freaking PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. These games are all just the huge top games that people are managing to sit down, to take seriously, and to finish. And it seems like to me that Microsoft has decided to make the very smart move and just fill the gaps. Instead of trying to make more exclusive games faster, instead of trying to make 5 big old banger games every year, maybe they do a bunch of tiny experiences. Maybe they put a bunch of stuff on their consoles for cheap. Like, I was actually just thinking about this, which is just a few days ago, they released these 20 games on Game Pass. These are all Bethesda games, but it's everything from Dishonored, Doom, Fallout, freaking Skyrim, all these games. And additionally, they actually just rolled out a boost mode. So a lot of these games actually look better. They went from 30 FPS to 60 FPS completely for free. They actually updated these games to make them look and play and run better than they ever did before, which is going to make it where people are going to take the Xbox catalog more seriously, knowing that there is this constant cabal that's constantly building up. There's always going to be new games, and I feel so bizarre saying this, but I have to admit, I'm incredibly excited about Xbox right now, and I don't think I've ever been in this place. It's been so long since I've actually thought, man, I am freaking thrilled to have my Xbox. Even just for stuff like, look, I think Outriders, to go back to Outriders for a second, I did not want to pay for Outriders. I just don't think that Outriders looks like a game that's worth $60. But if it's on Game Pass, like, why not? I'm already paying the subscription fee. I'll try it out. If it sucks, who cares? I delete it. If it ends up being great, then sweet, that's super cool. Maybe I'll even want to support the developers and buy it again on PlayStation 5. Like, it gives me those extra options. It shows the fact that Game Pass is finally doing what I think it was trying to do all along, but I feel like now it's succeeding at it, which is it's basically saying, here is a library. Check out the books you want. Skip the stuff you don't. Go to the sections that you want. Play the games you want. It's more than just Microsoft. It's the best way to play. Now, I'm not saying this as an Xbox shill, I'm not saying this as a PlayStation fan, but I'm saying this as a gamer who owns everything, that this seems like a great move. This seems like now things are going to be turning up the heat. I guarantee you that right this second, Sony is sweating a little bit. I guarantee you that over in Japan, there's a bunch of dudes in a board meeting room who are actually going, how the hell are we going to compete with this? Because PlayStation Now, I have PlayStation Now, it still can't keep up. PlayStation Now is a decent service. They've managed to improve it over time, but Game Pass completely nukes it from orbit. What is coming next? I have no idea, and I'm so freaking excited about it. But what do you think? Have you had a chance to actually look at this? Is this as impressive to you as it is to me? Are you mad that I don't like Outriders? Well, tell me in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. It is crazy. Like, Game Pass now has all the Final Fantasies, all the Yakuza games, all these random RPGs, old school shooters, new school games. Microsoft, are you okay? Are you spending your billions? I mean, I guess you are. You spent 8 billion, 7.5 billion to get Bethesda. Damn, that is some walking around money. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.